Good evening, Poetry Love Buzz. My name is ZM Wise. I'm your host. Welcome to the first Monday reading series. We have a featured poet tonight, Mr. Shen. Shen has loved space and words since he was 7. Combined, he has endeavored in the engineering and science field, currently supporting NASA's International Space Station. He also tutors students and writes extensively in both prose and poetry, frequently related to space. His first book is called Simple Words, and his next book, coming out in August, will be called Space Between Words. He also hosts the only weekly space radio show in Houston called SG2 on space via the media company Action One Media. You should check it out. I called in once. This is pretty cool. His dreams are many.
Yeah, that's funny.
His dreams are many, but definitely includes writing and publishing a science fiction book, getting a pilot's license, and traveling the world. Here he is, yours for the taking, Shen. Come on up.
All right, thank you, Zach. Okay, so I think that was a pretty good intro, considering I wrote it. Okay, you can take. All right. So I figured that my books that was published 2 years ago is laid out here. So I will read mostly some of the newer stuff that I have yet to publish. So, and just a note, guys, my poetry tends to be really short. I have rarely written anything longer than a page. I don't know, it just doesn't flow out quite like that. So let's just get started. All right. And also, just another note, I do say I love space, so a bunch of my poems are related to space, but not all of them, because, some of it's very personal as well. Okay, so I'm just going to go through this. A piece of life. We've learned to take a bite from a fruit aptly named life. Yet, what do we do with a soft skin which hides a hard core within? A piece of life hard to swallow, a piece of us easy to wallow. Why does this world so conspire? Our situation seems always so dire. Our souls eternally in burning fire, chaos within, serenity without. Lies we tell, truths we shout. Our steps clearly unclear, our minds full of fear. Outside, a fearless facade. Inside, an immense divide. Thanks. All right. This one's called Bread. Yesterday, I was but a simple child. I dreamt carefree and ran wild. Today, I still don't feel like a man, because I keep putting myself in a jam. This peanut butter, I feel like, buttered on this bread cut with a knife, being torn apart in pieces I don't like. I want to be a whole being that's serene, not half-eaten with pieces of no peace. All right. Yeah, these are actually kind of depressing. I'll think about it. A little bit. But alright, keep going, because maybe I was in that mood at that state. Alright, this one's called Knots. K-N-O-T-S. Fingers of my mind feel too thick to undo. These knots of my heart, figure eights, clove hitches, bow lines, each uniquely entangled. Black ropes of loneliness, anger, sadness, and fear. Faces and scenes of the past near and far. My memories unforgettable, unforgivable. They only grow across the strings of time. These twisted cords tighten their hold. My blood constricts, my body numbs. All right. Maybe something a little more, what do you call it? No, this is still not lighthearted. Okay, I'll just keep going. There will be some lighthearted ones. I'm not reading all of them. All right, the dichotomy of humanity. Okay, Vaster than the world's oceans, a whirling hurricane of energy, weaker than a boat tossed in the seas, broken driftwood cast about with ease. Drinking the cup of knowledge from ancestors, yet by nature one of abject ignorance. Hope these eyes see with a hungry gaze, but despair is all the heart truly says. More brilliant than Sirius, the mind shines. Hidden is darkness, darker than black hole. Collecting time's ephemeral strings bead by bead, only to squander in sweet sin to plant evil seed. Creator and destroyer, created and destroyed, an epitome of opposites, we are eternities in transience. Okay, so this one's about a lighthouse that I've never seen. It's just a picture in my head, so I figured maybe I saw an image or something online. So it's called Lighthouse. A lighthouse jutted above barren rock. Watch the opaque stormy seas carrying no billowing sails, no treasure fleet. Those days along the shorelines long gone. Today, just a cold dripping rain slanted down into the restless ocean's foaming beard. Wildly tossed white hair, blue shifting eyes. It gazes at the unrest with serene stillness. An edifice of chipped bricks from time lengthened, its spirit seemingly thinned, yet its light still shines. Nice. Okay. Alright, so this poem called Written Identity I wrote when one day I was thinking that people, I think I was some networking event, and I was thinking people are handing out business cards to each other, and all it says is their name, their position, their company, and phone numbers and emails. But what does that really mean? It doesn't tell you anything about who you are. It's just, but if that's what, are you identified by a label? So, and I was like, no, you're not. So there should be something more. So I wrote this poem based on that. All right. So, written identity. Bold font perfectly aligned on invisible grids. Word on small, neat rectangles of hard paper defines who you are by name, position, company, email, website, maybe 3 phone numbers. But where is a piece of paper, soft, not hard, with just a short list of words saying, a son or daughter, a dear friend and lover, perhaps a brother or sister, maybe even a traveler and dreamer? An unspoken societal convention says these words are best left invisible for folks to discover over time and not displayed in bold font. Alright, so another depressing one. Why not? Probably I was unhappy, I'm guessing. It's just like 2 years ago I wrote this. It's called Blur. The hundreds of days of yesteryear tumble like wet laundry into the dryness of today. And the hundreds of days from today will crumble like dry leaves into the dust of tomorrow. This forgettable blur of life, merely moments heaped upon one another to form an ever-growing hollow mound. Sometimes supports do solidify from its inner cavity. Peace touches tenderly. Love sways passionately. Joy flares spontaneously. Beauty dances gracefully. But just wait for an avalanche. And when it comes, fear grasps tightly. Anxiety stirs uneasily. Temper surges mindlessly. Loneliness suffocates slowly. Afterwards, a gloomy silence prevails, and the hollow monotony still stands. Days that are blurred always remains. Okay, I figure since I said space, why do I not talk about space, right? So, really now. Alright, let's talk about the sun. Alright, this is more of like a science poem, which is cool, I think. All right, so this is called fusion. So as you know, the sun shines because hydrogen is fused into helium, generating nuclear fusion, right? Generating energy, and that's why we're alive. But I found it wondrous that we have this floating nuclear reactor over there providing life to all of us, right? Which is like, wow, imagine that. All right, so this is called fusion. Hydrogen atoms collide and are no more, conjoining and fusing into helium-4. PP chain reactions with nuclear propensity. Thus are born weightless packets of energy, photons we call them, created, destroyed, and created once more, 1,000 times within our solar core, until they reach the photosphere. And with 499 passings of my watch, they fly across space onto Earth. So, how wondrous it is to know this morning gift that we all receive. Bright light from silent explosions of a floating reactor in empty space, sitting 100 million miles away. So, and just a little science here, besides the fact, the PP chain reaction. Okay, let's not get into that. But the photons that we see actually is not the original photons generated there. There's a lot of... the photons take, I think I read like it takes 1 million years for it actually to reach the surface of the sun. And with that, it takes us like 8 minutes to reach Earth. So it's like pretty wild. Okay, so why not another space one? Let's see here. All right. Okay, so people talk about Mars a lot, and I was thinking, well, hopefully one day we get there. But what about our preconceptions of Mars throughout the years, right? In the past. So I decided to write a little short poem. It's called Mars. The sun ducks behind horizon's curtain. The resonance of the night sky slowly arise. You, red dot of the night, rightfully stands. Before, we thought you divine, untouchable in high realm of gods. Now, we believe you cold and dead, barely reachable in vacuum of space. Soon, we shall reveal your true self, your red rocky soil, firmly under our feet. Thanks. All right, so I saw Venus crossing the sun a while back, a few years ago. So this actually is in that book, but I modified it slightly. So I'm still titling it Transit of Venus. So basically, it was basically due to the orbit, we could actually see Venus crossing in front of the sun. So it's pretty cool. All right. But I mean, it didn't block out the sun or anything. It's not there's no way you can have an eclipse with Venus. It's just too far away. So, transit of Venus, orb of darkness over spherical light, silent serenity in its flight. Morning star, evening star, up above it flies. Its orbit transgresses to we of watchful eyes. Okay. All right. Okay. Here's another one I wrote about Europa, which is one of my favorite worlds in the solar system. For those who don't know, Europa is a moon of Jupiter. In fact, I should write 3 other poems for the 3 other major moons of Jupiter. Now think about it. But Europa, a lot of scientists think it is the most likely place in our solar system to have life because it has been shown that it is very likely to have an underwater ocean, and due to its proximity to Jupiter, it should have enough internal heat due to the tidal contractions to actually have a heat source. Water plus energy source most likely equals life. So, however, we don't know this because it's encased by a thick layer of ice on the surface, right? So on the surface, we just see smooth white ice. So there's been talks about missions to go to Europa, drill under the ice, and see what's underneath. So hopefully they will find life. But I figured I'd write something about that way before the exploration happens. All right, so it's called Europa. Frozen plumes above this icy land, creaking ice, such musical thunder. Jupiter's glow looms on your face, reflected on opaque white space. Today, we see your outer face of icy blanched white serenity. Tomorrow, we peer into your heart of dark ocean swimming life. Okay. Clearly I could write more space poems, but... Oh, here's another one. This one so I'm sure a lot of guys, you've seen shooting stars in the sky. I don't know if you make a wish or not. Maybe not, but I don't know if I do. But point is, it did make me think about how short-lived it is, how transient. So I wrote this really short poem. It's called Shooting Star. A straight path burns the atmosphere. A shooting star illuminates a dark sky. A moment here, a moment gone. A journey like life's joys and scars. Now it shines, then flows and goes. All right. Okay, so well, I guess now I'll go into something a little different. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, excuse me a second. Okay, so I wrote a couple of different poems on the seasons. So I feel like every season, which spring, summer, fall, winter, it hits me in a different way. So I guess it's a fairly common theme to talk about nature and things. But I threw my own take at it. So considering now, I think it's summer, where it's getting there. So I wrote this a little while back when I thought about all these vibrant colors of summer. So I was thinking, okay, summer has all these flowers and trees and everything, but what color, what do I really like? And actually I was like, it's actually the color in my imagination. So I wrote this. Okay, so have you seen this? Summer grass, sun, sky. So much verdant green, opaque yellow, and translucent blue too. A million sunflowers follow the sun's run and nod to cotton white clouds drifting above. Dawn and dusk with sunrise and sunset, rosy pink before horizon's curtains dim to black. The scarlet ibis and cardinal with a dash of red, equally so with azaleas and dahlias in the garden. Such rubies of nature in earth and sky. But if you ask me what color I like best, it'd be the compassing of the breeze, colorless except in colorful imagination. Yeah, thanks. All right, and then I wrote 2 poems last winter, which is not that long ago. About winter. All right, so one's called Plum Blossoms. I got inspired by this by reading this. Oh gosh, I forgot her name, but I was reading this other poem, and I was like, "Huh, sounds cool." I'm not saying I stole it, but I'm saying let's see if I can do something similar, right? So this is called Plum Blossoms, and I was thinking this winter scene with like plums, they can bloom in the winter time. So Plum Blossoms. Plum blossoms in the winter air, caught in the act of defying gravity. Light pink with a hint of snowy white. Wings flutter like a flock of origami. From afar, I see red cranes adrift. Above, a field of frozen white. So, more like an imagery poem. So, okay. Alright, winter can clearly also be depressing. So I wrote this one called Winter Breeze. There lies crumpled the fallen rose, taken clutched in the winter breeze. Here lies I on this tainted snow, as past memories swirl and flow. Painful regrets and present pains. I want a reprieve for life so brief. The wind passes at winter's pace, and life passes as mortals race. Okay. Alright, I understand we had a few minutes. Alright. Okay, let me, I'll read 3 more. Is that good? Okay. And then I think I should be fine. Okay. So. Okay, so, alright, this one's called Ocean Soul. Alright, my eyes, my mind, my heart, and soul. My ship sails, tide adrift and afloat. The ocean undulates above and below. Are there white pearls below that glow? Stone and stars the heavens above, celestial beings by a marvelous moon, softly singing of soul fragments lost. When does the tune's crescendo grow? Dark to dark, chaos to chaos, the ocean, it says. I am an earthly twilight of heavenly glow, a pale shadow hiding the heavens below. I reflect, after a pause, comes my claws. My sails shall set free to sing harmony, height on height, gliding your 7 seas, catching pearls even while asleep. Nice. Alright, so getting more inspirational, kind of. So, alright, Riverbed Sky. Wrote this about a month ago. So, in your river of dreams, a field of blue beckons you. Look, and you can see the season of your soul colored in shades of light and dark. The crisp night air may shroud a field, but the bracing moon can coax it out. Stalking creatures of the shadows arise, kissing the wide flat hand of the sky. Their furs and scales glimmer with treasure, buried softly behind your eyes. Their slow footsteps thumping to the rhythm of the drumming in your heart. Okay. So, alright, then there was a time I was at the beach, and you always see kids playing around and other things, and most of the time it's like, oh, this is so happy, right? But then I was like, no, it's actually they're dancing in a graveyard when you think about it, because there's all these dead animals that they're stepping on, right? So I wrote this one. It's called, Just a Beach. So, sunlit seashells on sand scattered, baked and grayed from wind and water. Such pieces of past lives crushed, underfoot small beach sandals, pattering on their bare bones, children laughing on the graves, unknowing life treading on death. Alright, so I guess we're drawing to pretty close. Alright. Okay. Alright, so let's see here. I guess I'll read 2 more. This one's, you know what? I'll read the longest one yet, and then possibly the longest one yet. And then I will finish it. Okay, so I started writing this poem thinking of the scene with a deer going somewhere, and I couldn't figure out where it was going. I'm like, I don't know what to do here, so I just decided to completely change the theme. And essentially, I'll just read it and then you can find out. So, okay, so not being terribly creative, I just titled it Deer, like the animal. Alright. Softly sauntering through scented sweet summer grass, A deer fawn trots amongst verdant leaves, shining in the sun like brass. Half a year old, but already carrying over a century worth of wonder. Hearing the songbirds above and smelling the summer air above her, she blunders through the gaps in the trees, her mother, half hidden, watching and resting next to a honeysuckle bush, knows far better the rush of life and the swifter bloody gush of death. Death is a yawning abyss. It is bored and chooses its prey at random. Sometimes it roars with giant wicked teeth, but often it's only a phantom, quietly flowing through the underbrushes of the muddy ground, striking with venom for just a moment and then not to be found. From my jeep, I stay hidden to watch the mother watch her child. Is this fear the same that my mom felt when I first stepped away from home to explore people and places both wondrous and wild? Yeah. Okay. So, I guess I'll finish it off with this one. I thought I would love to read this whole thing, but... All right. Okay, so this I actually read it last night. So I was thinking whether I like watching rain, like storms, and I feel like I do, since it feels like I'm in the midst of something that's going to happen. I've never gone outside in a storm and have the rain drench me on purpose, but there's something about it, and so I figured I'd write a poem about what that would feel like and why. All right, so this is fairly short. All right, golden lightning piercing black sky, hammering thunder while raindrops fly. Stand under a tree, pondering while others flee. Lost in my own world, some say needlessly. How long have I longed to be truly free? This world is a herd, and I'm not a sheep asleep. The winds take my mind to another land. No one can see, for no one can understand. Okay. All right. So, with that, I am going to conclude here. So, as noted, space between words, I'll get that published. That should be out by August, possibly before. And of course, all this could be related through Zach when that time comes. And yeah, why not? You're the great promoter, right? So all right. In other news, so this is my first book. It's called Simple Words, and it's about 70 pages or so. So, I didn't read anything from this book today, primarily because, I have a similar style. So if you liked what I read, then feel free to get one. I'll sign it for you. $8. So I have plenty of copies here. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Shen, for that exquisite performance. Before the open mic commences, is there anybody who has not signed up yet who would like to perform a piece or two or three or four? Going once, going twice. Do I hear 20? Do I hear 25? 25, 30? Okay, sold. All right.